Geez, can't this dude just like make something? Man. Well, welcome back to PK Woodworking. I know, I was gone for a little bit. I have a day job and very busy, and I was making some projects as presents that I didn't want to post. So, anyways, you'll see some more coming from me soon. But I was really behind on this particular review. I promised this to a lot of people for quite some time, so I wanted to make sure that I actually got to it. I've owned this for about a year. This is the Felder 8941 joiner planer combo, and I have another couple of videos of when I actually received it and putting it together. It will be up there somewhere, linked. But I've had enough time to experience it. I've had enough time to know what to actually say about it. And so here goes. There's going to be a ton of B-roll footage while I'm talking that we'll throw in to make sure you can see the other parts of it. But I wanted to give you the general gist of it. So it's a 16-inch joiner planer combo. It is the single phase version. It has a 4 horsepower motor. I chose, that is by the way, the power cord that happened to come from Felder. So it comes with a power cord, but not a power plug. And I chose to connect it via a drop-down cord. I will show you that from the ceiling in some B-roll. As long as you do it right, I think that is a great way to go. I purchased it with what they call power drive, which gives you really repeatable accuracy when it comes to the thickness of what you're actually planing. I got it with the Comfort Guard, which is got 2 segments to it. I think if you buy a larger version, it comes with of this planer, it comes with 3. But you can put it together, and it can cover the entire cutter. And then as you have thinner pieces of wood, this adjustment right here lets it come up and down. I'm used to the old pork chop version of a fence guard. I'm over it. I wouldn't go back. This is the way to go. You press this little yellow button, it separates, and then it can hang down. And this is pretty much how I keep it most of the time. Most of the time, even though the aircraft carrier is quite large on this, I'll keep this particular fence much closer to the front. It just gives me more ergonomics. I don't want to lean all the way over to joint. Edge joint stuff, face joining, maybe I have it wider, but for edge joining, I'm going to pull it much closer just for my own personal comfort. The total length of the 2 halves of the beds are 86.5 inches, which is pretty solid for a combo machine. You don't see many combo machines that are much longer. I think when you get all the way up to the top, you approach the 90-inch mark. I'm going to move the fence. The fence adjusts on this outside arm, which is really heavy. I think in the video that I posted before, or I pointed to before, I think it's somewhere around 40 pounds just for that stupid bar. But you don't grab from here when you adjust it. You grab from the handle. And when you grab from the handle, it's pretty simple to move it. And like I said, I usually keep it somewhere in that space right there. I don't adjust it for anything other than 90 degrees, but it is adjustable really simply from a kip lever on this back side and then this handle moving forward and backward. A lot of people complain about the quality of the fence on some of the hammer machines and some of the lighter machines that are out there. Personally, I don't think it really has to be that strong, but this one is pretty rigid, so I don't think there's any issue with that on this particular machine. When you want to switch from joiner planing mode, you need to move the fence in so that this back area does not make contact with the back of the actual joiner planer and create some other funky nicks, etc. This is the adjustment for the amount that you want to take off for the joining. So it goes from 0, and then it's an easy move down. However, one weird thing about it is if you get this extension piece on the outside of the planer, you can't keep it centered on the back of the planer and then be able to get this arm to move all the way down to give you a full up to 5 millimeter cut, which I don't know why you would want to do that, but anyways, I don't ever take that much off, so I keep mine centered because it's no big deal for me. In that same video, I showed the mobility kit. This has the mobility kit on it. I installed it after we got it. The wheels are on the back side. Again, I'll give you some B-roll of that. I'm not super impressed with it. I think for the total cost, I probably would get a narrow pallet jack. I have one actually, and use a narrow pallet jack to move it. I assumed I was going to move this a lot. I really haven't moved this pretty much at all. So anyways, maybe you could skip that one. Power button for the machine is on the back side over there. And then to actually do the switch over on the machine, it's pretty simple. It's these two kip levers. You move the kip lever in on both sides, and then you, or actually out on both sides, and then you just lift up. And it's not that heavy. It's pretty simple to move up and down. That's it. Flip over the actual dust collection chute and you're done. There is something else you have to do on the back side though. When you're using it as a planer, you get two choices of speeds. You get 6 meters per minute and you get 12 meters per minute. I've hogged off a lot of material in 12 meters per minute, and this thing is got no problem with that. 6 meters meters per minute can give you a better finish though. So sometimes if you're really getting into something, maybe a little figured, and you're taking a lot off, 6 meters per minute does pretty much work really well too. So I do want to just call it out that when you are making the switch, you do need to move the planer bed down to a little over 180 millimeters. By the way, I've got it in millimeters right now, but this machine in particular, you can switch between inch and millimeter just by pressing a button. So anyway, goes up, goes down in a fast speed with this little, I don't know, button right here. And that's pretty quick. I mean, you can change it down to that 180 pretty easy. And then this lets you go up a millimeter at a time as you punch if you want to. You get pretty good at moving it up a millimeter at a time. So that's the gist on that. On a single phase machine from Felder, one tricky thing that I wasn't used to at the beginning is that you do have to actually hold down this button for 3 seconds while the motor comes up to speed to help it start. So I'm going to do that right now. And then I'll turn it off right after and you'll hear the brake that the motor has. This is definitely a European thing. All European motors have a brake like that. So here's the start. And you can hear the noise of the brake as it's coming to a stop. A lot of people say, well, you know, what's so great about this particular machine? I've got a joiner planer combo from somebody else, and I've got a segmented cutter head, and mine works great too. Well, I do want to say this is very quiet, so that's really good. I think it is probably the quietest segmented head out there. They do call it silent power. And I'm touching this, but as soon as this head is off and this is off, there are electrical interconnects that are inside the machine that will not let you start the machine without that cover on. So I'm safe. But having said that, the mass and the diameter of this actual cutter head matters a lot. I had a Delta with a bird head on it that I had installed on it, and the diameter of the head was significantly smaller, probably like an inch smaller in diameter. And the weight of the head and also just the diameter for the cutting angle does make a difference, I think. And so just to say it's the same, it's not necessarily the same. So having said that, I'm gonna go ahead and flip this back over and give it a start again. just to show you that I can have a conversation with it on. And if I turn on dust collection, my dust collection is probably louder than the actual machine is. That's my dust collection. So I don't have this port particular turned on, but I think you get the gist. And there it is again. I've run about, like I said, or maybe I haven't, but I've run a lot through here, probably close to 1,000 board feet of material at this time. I've hogged out and filled up my dust collector 35-gallon bin 20 or so times at least with this. And it is really a solid machine. I really can't give you any things that are the crazy complaints about how it's designed or how it works. I'll give you a bunch of things that I think are really cool about it. First of all, I think the counterbalance of the tops is really great. I mean, I don't know how much that top weighs because I think the machine itself is somewhere in the 1,200 pound range, but I mean, it holds the thing in that space with no problem whatsoever. So that's pretty much a joy to use. The locking mechanism is really easy. The use of the dimensions on the planer part works fantastic. The joiner is spectacular. I have zero complaints about the joiner. It flattens easily, quickly, without any problems whatsoever, and the guard keeps you completely safe. Many people on the internet have done that demo. I don't need to do that demo. So I want to say a few things about it though, and I'm going to give some B-roll about things that I don't like. One thing I don't like is the supplied cutter head cover on the backside. So as you move this fence farther forward and the fence gets proud of the backside of the machine, it exposes the backside of the cutter head. The thing that Felder gives you is a thin piece of metal that basically clanks along while you're using the machine. I'm probably gonna figure out a way to 3D print something to replace it because it's just not worthy of this machine per se. So I don't appreciate that part of it whatsoever. Other than that, I have to tell you that I think the machine really has no other faults that I can call on it. I think the machine works great in every single function I've used it for. The movement of the outside, or this particular outfeed table up and down, is not complicated, and it's easy to set it up level with the cutter head, so that's been great. It came to me perfectly set up. I didn't need to do anything to it whatsoever to get it planing exactly how I want to and jointing exactly how I wanted to. And again, I wouldn't buy the mobility kit from Felder again if I did this all over again. I would do something different. I would buy the extension for the planer on the back side, and by just giving a little bit of tension on the back side of that planer, on that planer extension right here, it does definitely help with Snipe. So that's pretty good. Snipe on this machine is very good. It does happen. I mean, I don't know how to dial out Snipe completely. There are people on the internet who say they can. I don't know. I don't know if it's possible to dial it out, but this one is very good at it and very predictable with how you use it. And yeah, I've never had a problem with it slowing down, even though it's only a 4 horsepower machine. And I've taken full end grain, 16-inch wide swaths at this thing, not a ton off at a time, but it didn't slow it down. It didn't do anything to make me think I needed more power per se. Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Would I buy it again? I would buy it again. I think it's a great machine. If you need more, there's lots of different options out there. If you need something that's 20 inches, there's lots of different options. I can't fit a separate machines in my shop. There's just no way. Even if I build a new shop, I just don't feel like I'll have a place where I'll be able to do that. So I just don't feel that's a possibility for me. I did not get this set up by Felder. A lot of people pay for commissioning from Felder. I think there are some machines that I would definitely pay to get commissioned by Felder. This one, I chose not to just because I didn't feel it was that complicated of a machine to set up myself. And so far, again, it has done well. I'll give you a couple of other things. I'm going to show you the swap out of the actual dust port so you understand what that looks like too. So this is a 120 millimeter, I think, port. So it's a bit different than 5 inches. If you buy the machine, I would recommend you get the reducer when you buy it, because that will let you use the 120 millimeter directly onto a 5-inch hose, which is how I've got it set up. So pretty simple. I just lean down, connect it up, and usually give myself like that kind of a space for it. There you go. It's set up to work. And then if you want to do a swap, the swap is easy. I disconnect this first, and then I kind of let it hang over here. So then I just would go back to exactly what I did before. I've already got this in the right place. You just have to remember every time to make sure you put it in the right place. Loosen the 2 up, grab your 2 handles, come up, rotate the dust hood over, and then I use the bed itself to kind of keep it out of the way of the wood that's coming through that's being planed. That simple. And since you have this port connection that Felder sells, it's only a couple of bucks, it makes it easy to get on and off, and you don't have to try squeezing this part right here. I'd hate to break that on the actual Felder machine. And then it's that simple. It's out of your way. If you're, I guess you could joint something that thick. But one of the things that people did talk to me when I was buying this machine, hey, Paul, it's going to be really low when you're using it as a planer, and you're going to kill your back. Well, what I find out is most of the time you're in this range when you're doing the planing part of it, and it's easy enough to get a adjustable outfeed table to bring up right next to it. Got some videos, and you're bringing it in from this side, comes out this side. You miss whatever you're doing with this particular hose, so that's easy. And then you're just putting it right back on a table right here, moving it back over. I have another toy that you'll see in the videos too that I've used also as a way to support the wood as I go through the process of joining and planing. So, that's it. Thumbs up, 100%. Is it inexpensive? No, it's not inexpensive. This is a luxury machine as far as I'm concerned. But if you bought 2 machines, this has been said many times on the internet, if you bought 2 machines, a joiner and a planer that could both do 16 inches, you'd be far beyond the price of this single machine, far beyond the price of the single machine. And then the next challenge would be, are you getting the same kind of quality out of those 2 machines you're purchasing that you can get out of a Felder or an SCM or something like that? SCM also sells a machine that's a lot like this. I think it's the FS520, a lot like this. So those machines are in the same ballpark price range wise, and again, far cheaper than buying 2 separate pieces to replace with. So I would definitely recommend this in a smaller shop. One-man shop, totally on board. Multiple people, find a bigger shop and get separate machines, probably. However, on one of the videos that I've done so far that I don't know if I'm going to get up at the same time as this, but one of the videos I had to go back and mill some more of the wood I was using to make that particular project. And because I have the ability to dial in an exact dimension on this, it's very simple to go back and not have to find a setup again and get close again. That is a lot of things that people complain about a combo unit for. So that makes it very simple for me. So anyways, amazing machine, super lucky to have it. And Yeah, thumbs up for Felder. I have a hammer machine also. Felder has 3 brands, 4 brands, but 3 brands that people probably talk about. Hammer is like their entry-level range products, which for a lot of people is probably expensive to start with, so I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. And then Felder is like their mainstream brand, and then their upper end brand is Format, which is more usually control built into Format, and the quality kind of steps up as you go from hammer to Felder to Format. So, and finish also changes a bit. So this is kind of in the middle of their range, and super happy with it. So hey, I apologize for this taking so long to get to you, but I think it was better that I got to use it and know a little bit about it and really say that it was good or wasn't good. So appreciate you all. Talk to ya.